Hey, it's Zadie. You're watching my channel, Flytte Kartina, and can we just take a moment to appreciate the fact that satire exists? Today we're going to talk about the movie Isn't It Romantic, starring Rebel Wilson and Liam Hemsworth. I know what you're thinking already. They couldn't get Chris Hemsworth to be in the movie, so they got his brother instead for the lady appeal. If you're new to this channel, welcome. This video is completely non-spoiler, so you don't have to worry about anything that I say in this video that will spoil your entertainment and seeing this movie. The first half of this video is dedicated to the meaning behind the rating of the movie, and the second half is dedicated to my thoughts and opinions on this movie without spoiling anything for you guys. Let's get started. The movie Isn't It Romantic is rated PG-13 for language, some sexual material, and brief drug reference. I'm just gonna dissect that and give you guys examples from the movie just to show you guys what you're getting into. So for the language there is a lot of language. I'd say it's probably the same amount of language that is in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. There's one verbal use of the F-bomb, but there are multiple tries to use it because of just stuff that happens, like stuff that's in the trailer.
I think I'm trapped in a... My life's become a mother... romantic comedy! And it's PG-13!
Again, there's a lot of curse words involved, alike to Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I guess this counts as language. A character flips another character off, and she does it like 3 times in varying degrees, and this scene lasts for about 30 seconds. So if you don't want to see that, don't go to this movie, because there's like 30 seconds of that. Moving on to some sexual material. Since this is PG-13, there is no actual scene where 2 characters have relations with each other. It's just a suggestion and it doesn't actually happen. And also on the sexual material side, there is also a lot of kissing involved. It's a rom-com. What do you expect? For the brief drug reference, I guess like the thing to mention here is alcohol. So to wrap this first part of the video up, I'm gonna pull up my frequency chart, which rates the frequency of the rating of this movie and how frequent it is and, like, you know, how it happens. And I'm gonna say this movie is pretty high on the scale. I'm gonna say it's about a 9. Lastly, I'm gonna pull out my magical scale of movies on a scale of Steamboat Willie. No, on a scale of Lego Movie 2 to Deadpool. How appropriate is this movie for younger audiences? I'm gonna say Isn't It Romantic is on the higher end of the scale, and it's gonna be an 8 for Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So if you know what's in Who Framed Roger Rabbit and how frequent those elements are, you will probably know, what Isn't It Romantic is going to be like on this scale. Now we're on to the second half of the video where I just give my thoughts on this movie and just, tell you guys about what I thought about it, if I liked it, if I didn't like it, and then at the end I'll tell you if I would buy it, rent it, or watch it in theaters. So Isn't It Romantic? I thought it was funny with just the right amount of satire. It was something that I wanted to enjoy myself watching. I didn't want to see something that wanted to make that, like, I didn't go to this movie looking for love. I went to this movie wanting to laugh. That's what this movie delivered. I was really entertained at, throughout it, but it was really preachy at the end. To make a good comedy while you're like getting morals into it, I think a good example of that would be Baywatch. I don't recommend that movie to people, but like I watched Baywatch and I had a fun time, and the morals in there were good, and like it was interwoven with a story, and it wasn't just like this big moment where the character's like, oh my gosh, I need to do this because of this. To make a good comedy with morals, you gotta know how to balance it and just introduce it in the first act, hint at it in the second act, and then bring it to full completion in the third act. I think that's pretty, it's a good method to follow. Rebel Wilson did a good job in this. Liam Hemsworth did okay. He was kind of just really goofy, and I think that's just his character. Some of the stuff he did in there was just, I was like, what are you doing? No one does that even in a rom-com. Regardless of what I just said before, all of the characters were really likable and, so cute and adorably satirical. It was just, I was like, this is great. It's just confirming everything that I think about rom-coms. One thing that I saw in between the actors, even though they're great actors, some of the chemistry just wasn't there in the scenes, and that could be because of short amount of time because of filming because of budgeting and stuff like that. Just some of the chemistry wasn't there in between the characters, and I wasn't believable, and it was kind of awkward to watch it with certain people. But those are just my thoughts on the movie, and if you do want to see it, go ahead. But would I buy this movie, rent it, or see it in the theaters? And I think this is definitely a rent it. Like, I would go to Redbox and see this with a bunch of like friends. Not guy friends, girlfriends. Because it's definitely a girl movie to go and watch. Anyways, question for this video is, what is your favorite rom-com? Just let me know in the comments down below. Also, like this video and subscribe to my channel, ring that bell so that you are the first person to get notifications of my newest videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great random Thursday. I will see you on the other side of the screen. Bye!